Hi everyone, welcome back. It has been a very long time since I last posted, and while I do not apologize, I always deliver on my threats. I also have no subscribers, so please subscribe for more weird art content like this one. I will make more. That is a threat. As I was saying, when I was younger, especially in middle school, I wrote a lot, and I mean a lot of stories. And to be honest, I still do. I've always had a deep love for characters and great storytelling, but there's one story in particular which has always caught my interest more than the rest. It's called The Riskmaster, a superhero webcomic set in Manila, Philippines. The Riskmaster and her partner Crusher are some of the earliest OCs I've ever drawn. I think I must have been 13 years old when I created them, and although I really like their story, I've always found their designs a bit subpar. So today I'm going to redesign them and tell you a bit about who they are. Let's start with Riskmaster because her design bothers me the most out of these two. Her silhouette isn't very memorable, she kinda just looks like an average girl wearing a hood. Her color palette is so uniform, especially if I throw a grayscale filter on it, everything kinda just looks like the same value. This holster looks pretty cool. I don't know why she has it though, she doesn't carry any weapons. Her powers are enhanced strength, speed, and durability, so she's really more of a fist fighter. I can work with this though, there's a lot that I can do to make this better.
Approximately 10 hours later.
Oh my god, you guys have no freaking idea how long it took me to draw this pose. I could not for the life of me get this arm to look like an arm. I think what I'm going to do for now is just mess around with different shapes and try to give her a better silhouette. Wait, actually, did I not explain who Riskmaster is? I should probably do that. Her civilian name is Mariel Magpantay, and after a really weird experience in a Chinese antique shop, she suddenly gained extreme strength, speed, and durability, but she can only use these powers while she's in pain. If it's physical pain, she has a bit more control because it's tangible, but when she's in emotional pain, oh boy, those powers go absolutely haywire. I tried to make her backstory very classically Filipino, I guess. She grew up in Makati near the business district. Her father was a thrill-seeking, fun-loving man, but he lived a hard life because he was always working hard to support his family. Despite that, he always encouraged Mariel to get into sports, make friends, and maximize her happiness. But sadly, he died young, having never accomplished any of his dreams. After that, Mariel's mom became emotionally unavailable and started working longer hours to support her remaining family members. So because of that, every time Mariel is unhappy or even bored, she feels like she's wasting time. All she ever wants to do is enjoy life and avoid pain by any means necessary. Can you see how that might create some conflict both with and without her powers? Anyway, I think these shapes are fine for now. I might make her hair a little less messy, but for now I'll keep it the way it is. Because her powers emit from her body, a big part of her silhouette is going to come from them. Also, Manila is just really freaking hot all year, so it wouldn't make sense to give her a costume with too many layers. Besides, I can always add more shapes later if I need to. Now, onto her costume. I think we should give her a sleeveless top to free up her arms. Ahsoka Tano's combat dress is one of my favorite things ever, so I'd like to give Riskmaster a similar top. Her collar will be high but practical, just a slight flare, nothing too crazy. She's got fingerless gloves because she's cool like that. Oh, and I forgot to mention, she gets her powers from this antique gold bracelet. Filipinos wore a lot of gold during the pre-colonial era, so I thought it would be a nice touch. I know this skirt looks really short, but I'm gonna give her leggings underneath. The reason why I'm not drawing her as skimpy as, say, other female superheroes is that the Riskmaster is 14. I love the classic comic book aesthetic, don't get me wrong, but this girl ain't ready to expose herself like that. Also, I just really like the bulletproof suits from John Wick, so I kinda want her to be covered in a bullet-resistant material as well. I'm going to give her a light-colored stripe around her waist just to emphasize her general shape. When you have characters that stand in dark lighting often, you want them to still have identifiable features so that the audience knows what's going on. For her hair, I'm trying to give her a sporty look. I actually have an earlier version of Mariel where her hair looks like this, but I could not draw those weird escaping hairs from other angles. My brain is just not built that way, so I went with the slightly side-swept bangs instead. Also, she gets a high ponytail because high ponytails look frickin' awesome when they blow in the wind. Did I draw this right? Yeah, I think that looks fine. Just a few minor edits here and there. I think that's all. The rest is coloring.
A few moments later.
I'm stupid. She needs a mask. Everyone's gonna know her identity. I'm trying to keep her design as simple as possible because the Riskmaster is supposed to be a webtoon, and action webtoons tend to be upwards of 50 panels per week, so I need to be able to draw her quickly. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, last detail, I swear. Crusher has this symbol on his chest, and I think it would be really cool if Riskmaster had the same. By the way, if this has a real life meaning, please let me know in the comments. I'm trying to avoid using real world symbols as much as possible, and I don't think this means anything, but I have been horrifically wrong in the past. Alrighty, now we can move on to coloring. Now that I'm a more experienced artist and I have an actual grasp of color theory, it was so much easier to color Riskmaster. I kept her main color palette blue, but I wanted to accent it with just a little bit of red. And this is the final version that I came up with. I also tried giving her red powers instead of blue, but to be honest, I don't know how I feel about them. I mean, they fit her aesthetic, but I don't know if they look any better than the blue. Comment below, guys, red or blue, I need help. But yeah, I think that's it for Riskmaster. Next, I'll be redesigning her partner, Crusher. Before I continue though, I just want to remind everyone to please subscribe. I used to say that I have no subscribers, but I actually do have subs now, so that would be a little bit awkward. But I can say that less than 2% of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. So subscribe, guys, what are you waiting for? And with that said, back to the video. Okay, the problem with Crusher's design isn't really that it's bad, it's just that I don't like some of the aesthetic choices I made for him. His mask doesn't match his personality at all, he's not nearly this unhinged in the story. His cape is supposed to be bullet resistant, but it's short and slanted, so it's not very practical. And the lack of gloves just bothers me. He also doesn't have the most comic-friendly design. This pattern on his hood would be really hard to draw accurately from multiple angles. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, he needs a knee brace. He got a chronic injury or something. I don't remember the exact lore because I made that up like 8 years ago, but I remember that it was important. Anyway, I think I know exactly how to fix this. Unlike Riskmaster, I actually have an idea about what kinds of shapes I want in Crusher's design, so I'm going to go straight into drawing him without blocking out his silhouette first. Crusher is a bit of a mystery superhero. Nobody besides the man who made him a hero knows his true identity. Crusher and Riskmaster have the same mentor, and he basically assigned Crusher to babysit Riskmaster while she's still a new hero. He keeps her in check and makes sure that she doesn't do anything too, well, risky. His powers are that he can manipulate the properties of substances around him, but only if he understands their chemical makeup. He's definitely really advanced at chemistry for his age, but given that he's not much older than Riskmaster herself, his understanding of the topic is still limited to an extent. I won't bore you with too much chemical jargon, but basically a lot of his combat involves condensing the molecules in the air and then rapidly expanding it to create explosions. Later on, he figures out how to compress and manipulate solid objects, which is where the name Crusher comes from. Anyway, back to design stuff. I really liked his original bulletproof vest, so I decided to keep it. I also liked how the fingerless gloves looked on Riskmaster, so I gave Crusher a pair as well. I simplified his hood a lot by taking out the little pattern on it, but I also ended up having a hard time anyway, just because for some reason I drew him with his head tilted back. It'll be fine, we ball. His cape is also going to be a lot longer and more rectangular, both because it'll be easier to draw, but also for practicality in combat. I want it to be made of bullet-resistant material like Riskmaster's suit so that he can kind of shield himself by wrapping it around his body. His belt is also going to be a lot more simple than the original, much less internal lines. I'm thinking that maybe he keeps vials of chemicals in a little pouch on the side and then pulls them out whenever he needs them. And that's it, now all that's left is coloring. His color palette was already pretty good to start with, so all I really did was lighten the lighter colors and darken the darker colors. Here's the final result for Crusher. I especially like this little tooth design on his mask. Riskmaster also has teeth on hers, so I thought it would be a really cute way to indicate that they're working together. Personally, I'm really happy with the new designs. They look so much better than the originals. Anyway, that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like and comment below if you'd like to see the Riskmaster as a fully realized webcomic series. I originally planned to post it on Webtoon way back in April because of the webcomic Legends contest, but I just had too much going on in college at the time. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Bye bye!